Hi, I'm Chester Arnold, a Sonoma artist, Sonoma County artist. I've lived here for the last 30 years. The piece that I've contributed to the auction is reflects many of my lifelong interests, and this goes back really to childhood. I've always been a lover of bricks. I used to have a little miniature set of bricks with a miniature trowel and mortar, and I would make little brick walls. Don't ask why that was fascinating, but I think with a lot of things that I do as an artist are driven by some kind of metaphorical connection to meaning in life. So that I will find that a brick wall as a subject, either to construct or to paint, is attractive to me. And then after whatever it is I've done is made, I'll look at it and I'll rub my chin or my beard and say, "Oh yeah, now I know why I did that, because that has a particular set of meanings to me." So in the case of the bricks, I always felt bricks were a symbol, a really positive symbol of human progress and construction, and the kind of brick by brick, literally a construction of a dwelling in the case of a positive view of it, and of a wall in a negative view of it. And of course, the recent administration and the building of a wall and the concern about kind of foolishly trying to separate nations with a wall really became kind of an obsession on the conscious part of my mind. And then I found myself drawing and painting little studies of walls, and that just, I couldn't let it go. So in the reflection in the painting that's donated, it was one of many iterations of that, which I often will do. And there's one in the wall behind me, in fact, called "Even Though the Whole World is Burning," which was sort of done at the time of the fires in Sonoma County. But the one that's in the museum auction was a reflection of another wall in my childhood growing up in what was then West Germany, the wall that separated West from East Germany, which was an enormous, powerful, constant symbol of human failure at cooperation. And I think we, as young people growing up in school, it was talked about a lot, and it was a real concern, but nobody knew. At that age, you had no idea what you could possibly do about it or how it would ever go away. So in thinking about that subject, I had punched a hole in the wall one more time, and I was thinking, okay, the wall is constructed, the hole is punched. What is going to appear on that stage? And that particular day, I was thinking about my childhood in Europe and how you might look across a landscape and you might be sitting in West Germany and you could sit and see into East Germany. I mean, there were just names. The same forest grew on both sides of a wall. So I was really thinking about that as a more pastoral reflection of the theme of the wall and separation and what it means to humanity. So there's a little character sitting in the background of that painting by a fire, keeping warm, and I feel like it's almost a signature of mine to have a single person to identify with. And oftentimes a fire is simply symbolizing, in some cases, life, in some cases, destruction, but also from a sheerly aesthetic perspective, having another element of energy in a painting to work with as someone who constructs everything from imagination. Sometimes having an active element like a fire and smoke will allow a painter to lead the eye in different places subliminally, but hopefully to make it an interesting visual experience as well. So that's where that painting is coming from. And I thought that theme was long gone several times in my career, but it keeps coming back to haunt me. I mean, I have made little paper mache walls. I've made real walls. I've made paintings of walls, drawings of walls, watercolors of walls. And I had a show of Catherine Clark 2 years ago, which was almost all wall paintings specifically about Trump. And there's one of those paintings is in the current museum show with a big wall of Trump's wall. So it's become a fruitful subject for me because I think it has lots of geometry and textural possibilities. And as someone who is a representational artist, I find that those things are the lifeblood of what I do. I grew up in Europe, so a lot of what I do, bringing art to the Bay Area, has had the reference of kind of European thinking and European aesthetics. So it's distinguished me in some ways, perhaps oddly, as a painter who is really focused on especially social commentary, concerns of the environment, which have always been a part of my practice as an artist. And it sort of ended up defining me. It's not as though I started out being that way, but it has created for me a framework of and definition in the Bay Area art world. I have exhibited widely from coast to coast. I have worked in museums up and down the coast and across the United States. So I feel like I've been very fortunate to have exposure. And I just retired 2 years ago from teaching for 30 years as a painting and drawing professor. And I have enjoyed an enormous flush of new energy after having taught and been unaware of actually how much energy that had taken to do. Partly because I did it so happily, and I love proselytizing on behalf of visual art as an important human activity, and especially now during the COVID times, I think so. I'm still painting. I'm sitting here in my studio. You can see things in the background. And I'm exhibiting regularly at Catherine Clark Gallery in San Francisco, who has amazingly survived and has an active program going on as we speak. So I feel very fortunate in that, and I'm happy to be involved in donating a piece to the museum.